Lockdown und möchte diese Gelegenheit nutzen, um ein paar Worte mit euch zu teilen. An alle Menschen da draußen. In dieser Zeit lasst uns nicht vergessen, den Menschen zu danken, die ihr Leben für uns opfern. Sei es die Menschen, die im Krankenhaus arbeiten, in den Altenheimen sowie in den Arztpraxen, aber auch an die Menschen, die im Lebensmittelhandel sich befinden. Die Kassierer. Manchmal reicht es aus, um ihnen ein freundliches Lächeln zu geben. Denn die Menschen, die heute am Arbeiten sind, weil sie nicht so wie einige von uns zu Hause bleiben können, die sollten wir wertschätzen. Ihnen sollten wir unseren Dank ausrichten. Darum lasst uns noch mehr zusammenhalten, sie wertschätzen.
Hello, my name is Robin and I'm 5 years old. My mom and dad said many people are getting sick. That is why we have to stay at home. That is why I cannot go to school. I cannot play outside and I cannot even visit my friends. We can only go outside if we visit the doctor or if we need to buy some food. And when we get home, we have to wash our hands. While I'm at home, I do my homework, clean up my toys, help cooking our food, and help my parents with their work. Please stay home so we can all play together again. Bye!
This program is rated PG. It contains themes and scenes which may not be suitable for very young audiences. Parental guidance is advised.
We're working to connect a region of over 600 more bridges between our lands.
Hello, Malma Angeles. We're moving to the next stage of the pandemic, and as the world resets to the new normal, we find ourselves seeking the right balance between health and livelihood, constantly adjusting the boundaries between liberty and responsibility. Welcome to ASEAN in Focus. Now, we are honored to welcome back His Excellency Charles C. Jose, Ambassador of the Philippines to Malaysia. Good afternoon from Manila, Mr. Ambassador.
Ay, good afternoon po sa inyo lahat at sa inyong mga taga-subaybay.
Mr. Ambassador, you were instrumental in repatriating more than 100 or nearly 200 na ba? 180 stranded Filipinos from Malaysia and Sabah. Can you please tell us po more about this po?
At po, no? Kapon po, meron kaming repatriation operation. Natulungan po namin makauwi sa Pilipinas ang 180 nating mga kababayan na stranded dito sa Malaysia. It was a chartered flight, fully funded by the Philippine government. So lahat po ng mga sumakay nating kababayan ay wala akong nilabas na pambayad ng kanilang airfare. At ito nga pong repatriation na to ay lumipad from Kuala Lumpur to Kota Kinabalu sa Sabah at patungo pong Maynila. Out of these 180 passengers, 81 po ay mga OFWs, 13 students at 82 tourists. So naging maayos naman po ang repatriation program, wala po naging aberya, kaya naging smooth po ang paglakbay po ng mga kababayan natin kahapon.
Mr. Ambassador, paano po ba ang proseso para sila po ay makauwi po ng Manila from Malaysia po?
Sa 5 kinonduct na namin na repatriation program, 2 po doon chartered. So, mula nung nagsimula yung NCO, marami pong lumalapit sa amin ng mga stranded po nating kababayan. So, meron po kaming database, no? Kagaya po kahapon, dahil chartered flight yan, funded by the government, so we had to prioritize, no? Inuuna ho namin yung mga senior citizens, yung mga bata ho, mga babae. Minsan kung sino yung mga nauna pa, mula nung una ay nag-request ng assistance sa pag-uwi. So we had to prioritize. But yung mga 2 other flights na kinonduct namin, it was a special commercial flight. So it was self-paying, no? So kung sino yung willing ho magbayad ng airfare, they are accommodated sa flight.
Ambassador, kumusta na po ba ngayon ng Malaysia? Are you in the recovery movement control order na po ba ngayon?
Opo, pumasok po sa latest phase ang Malaysia. Nasa recovery movement control order. Nagsimula po ito noong June 10 hanggang August 31 po ito. Under this RMCO, mas marami pong restrictions ang na-relax na. Almost all social, religious, business, and education activities ay pinapayagan na po mag-resume in stages but following strict SOPs. Ito pong mga SOPs, yung pong mga precautionary measures like observing hygiene, yung wearing of face mask, physical distancing, at iba pang mga measures pa po.
So what is the government doing po para wag po magkaroon ng second wave of infections? Like in South Korea po, di ba parang nagkaroon sila ng second wave of infections. In Malaysia po, what is the government doing to avoid that?
Kung susuriin po natin, no, yung mga new cases sila, mostly wala na po itong local transmission. Ito po mga huling cases ay nasa mga detention centers, no, ang na-infect. So sa community halos wala na po, kaya medyo confident na po ang Malaysian government to relaxing ko na lang restriction. To ensure na wala pong second wave ay sarado pa po ang borders ng Malaysia from international travel. So wala pa po mga international flights, magre-resume lang po ito after August 31. Pero pinapayagan na po ang interstate travel among Malaysians.
Paano naman po ang trabaho po sa embassy and services po natin dyan? How is it going po under the RCMO po?
Mula po nung dineclare na yung RCMCO, nung pong RMCO, nung June 10, ay nag-resume na po ang operation sa embassy. Nagbukas na po kami, full services. Pero ang personal po natin, we also adhere, no, sa mga SOP ng Malaysia. So hindi po kami full force. Naghati po kami into 2 groups. So alternate week po ang pasok namin. Pero ang consular section po namin ay talagang open na po ang services. Pero ang pinakamalaking difference po ay nag-launch na rin po kami ng online appointment system para mabawasan po yung pagtitipon ng maraming tao sa aming consular section. So yun lamang kung may prior appointment ang maaari pong pumunta sa consular section para mag-avail po ng services, whether renewal ng passport, kukuha po ng visa, magpapa-authenticate ng documents, o yung civil registration. Para po makakuha ng appointment, pwede po bumisita sa aming website and Facebook page at nandun po yung online appointment system.
Alright. Ambassador, baka meron ho kayong mensahe sa mga nanonood po ngayon sa inyo.
Opo, no? Para sa mga kababayan natin dito sa Malaysia, binabati ko po yung lahat ng happy 122nd Philippine Independence Day. At previous years, no, marami po tayong mga activities to mark the occasion. Meron po tayong mga events for the Filipino community. Pero since meron po tayong health issue po ngayon, ay we decided, no, to cancel po yung PhilCom activity, pati yung National Day reception na hino-host po ng embassy for the diplomatic corps and for the Malaysian government officials ay cancel na rin po.
So, paano po ang celebration po natin ngayon ng Independence Day po?
Well, kanina po, we had a simple ceremony to mark the occasion. We had a flag-raising ceremony sa embassy. And binasa po natin yung mga statements, yung mga messages po ni Pangulong Duterte at ni Secretary Locsin. At nagbigay din po ako ng sarili kong mensahe para sa mga kasamahan po natin sa embassy.
Alright, maraming salamat po, Ambassador. Anytime po na you need anything or meron kayong gustong ibalita na iparating po dito sa ating mga kababayan, ay very welcome po kayo. Thank you for taking care of our Filipino community there.
Maraming salamat din po sa pag-anya niyo sa akin dyan sa programa ninyo.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ambassador. Alright. Let's go now to California, where Disneyland announced a proposed plan to begin the phased reopening in July. Joining us from the Silicon Valley Bureau is Don Orozco.
Good afternoon, Alma.
Good afternoon, Don.
And of course,
Happy
we dwell
Independence
on
Day.
the good news. Well, one of the most awaited reopening of business is the one happening in Southern California, which is Disneyland. Disneyland is set to open on July 9, but it will just open the shopping district pending local and state officials' approval. But then again, with easing out of practically everything, I am pretty sure that it will be open. And then the other date that they are looking at is July 17. It is the day where they will actually open the park. And it will coincide, Alma, on the 65th anniversary of California Disneyland. I know there's Disneyland all over, like there's one in China, there's one in Hong Kong, there's several, even in Singapore. On 17th, there won't be no parades. That has always been very popular. Well, you see Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, you know, and all other cartoon characters, including Buzz and Woody marching all together. But this time, there won't be no parades, no meet and greet, and hotels around Disneyland will open in end of July. Now, I would like to ask you, Alma, in view of this reopening, would you be considering going to Disneyland at this point in time?
As much because of the new normal measures in place, di ba?
Exactly. And you know,
it's
very hard because you'll be holding on grills, you'll be dealing with so many people. So it is still, the termino is delicado.
Yes.
Anyway,
not yet safe.
So that news will actually put smile on our kababayans, especially those who are here already in the U.S. The downside is that we continue to suffer on unemployment. Right now, this week, another 1.5 million Americans filed for unemployment. And specifically dito sa Silicon Valley, we're being hit hard. Lending Club is popular. It is laying off 367. Yung Lyft, 325. Yelp, 335. Even IBM, mga 140. But hopefully, everything will be temporary. And then, you know very well, for the last 2 weeks, there were too many protests, rioting, looting that happened here in the U.S. So right now, there is a COVID-19 watch list. In particular, 10 counties are being checked now simply because there is a rise of cases for COVID-19. These counties include San Bernardino, San Joaquin, Fresno County, Imperial, Kings, Sacramento, the capital, Ventura, Los Angeles, and the sad thing is that even in our county, Santa Clara, where Silicon Valley is. So we will be giving you updates on some of the things that is developing, especially on COVID-19, so that we can actually be guided and learn about what's going on here in the side of California. So reporting live here in Silicon Valley, this is Don Orozco, and we live in interesting times.
All right, thank you, Don. ASEAN in Focus, we'll be right back.
Patindi ng patindi at tuloy-tuloy ang pagpapakita ng galing ng ating mga TNG aspirants. Abangan ng kanilang performances sa pinakamalaking talent competition sa buong bansa, Tagisan ng Galing.
This program is presented by SMC Infrastructure, building a better world. Sandig sugar-free white coffee, puno ng white coffee taste without the sugar, kaya lower calories. Try mo na Sandig sugar-free white coffee. Sarap ng white coffee, now sugar-free. Vet-approved Nutrichos, the only premium dog food with active boost for optimum energy and prebiotics that help strengthen immunity. Just like Catherine Bernardo, gawing listo, ganado ang fur babies niyo. Listo ganado sa Nutrichos. Magnolia Chicken Templados, delicious, ready to cook and freshly marinated daily. Pure Foods Luncheon Meat, pure sarap for every family. Star Chunky Cheese Corned Beef, ang cheesy ng corned beef mo. Walang duda, kids can tell na #1 ang Pure Foods Tender Juicy. Ang tender, ang juicy, ang sarap. Co-presented by Cooper, expert in air conditioning and electromechanical. Also engaged in structural, electrical, fire protection, plumbing, and sanitary services. Cooper, your ultimate MEPS and air conditioning solutions. Unlad Incorporated International, fight against global poverty. New San Jose Builders Incorporated. Canrib Corporation, your ventilation and air conditioning specialist. Vita Herbs Philippines Green Coffee, masarap, mabango, at healthy pa. Puerto Rico Resort and Convention Center, Cabiao, Nueva Ecija. I love Puerto Rico. In participation with Rain or Shine Elastomeric Waterproofing Paint, Matinco. R Square Variables Incorporated, Compizel Enterprises, Saisho International Trading Corporation, DN Steel, IMAC UPB Roof Corporation.
Hey, Gretchen Ho here, and I'm a white coffee lover. Creamy kasi, and very yummy. Pero mas masarap kung hindi nakaka-guilty. Check my new discovery, San-Made Sugar-Free White Coffee. Puno ng white coffee taste without the sugar, kaya lower calories. Try mo na! San-Made Sugar-Free White Coffee. Sarap ng white coffee, now sugar-free.
Skyway Stages 1 and 2, the elevated toll road system project, run from a section of the South Luzon Expressway from Alabang to Magallanes, Makati. The Skyway Stage 3 is an elevated expressway connecting the South Luzon Expressway through the existing Skyway Stages 1 and 2 to the North Luzon Expressway via Balintawak. Skyway Stage 4 is an 80-kilometer mixed elevated and at-grade toll road that will connect the existing Skyway system, starting from the FTI section all the way to Bulacan.
Listo at ganado ang baby ko sa vet-approved Nutrichunks with active boost and prebiotics na pampalisto. Made with real meat, with essential nutrients to help them grow healthy and happy. Listo, ganado sa Nutrichunks.
Ikaw lang ang star ng buhay ko. Para sa akin, perfect ka. Ibang klase ang sarap ng corned beef mo. Ang cheesy ng corned beef mo. Pag Star Chunky Cheese Corned Beef, sarap ng corned beef, inangat pa ng real cheese cubes. Kaya perfect ang sarap. Star Chunky Cheese Corned Beef.
Joining us live from Sri Lanka is Steffi Dewan. Steph, government institutions and ministries will now operate from June 14 to 18. Is that right? Hello, Steph? Hi, Steph. Can you hear me?
Yes, Alma. That's the latest news for today. President Ibrahim Mohamed Soli on Thursday issued permits for government institutions and ministers to operate from June 14 to 18 in order to complete essential tasks. According to the decree, government offices will not be open to the public despite being cleared to operate from 9 in the morning and 1 in the afternoon. The President's decree mandates offices and institutions to notify the Health Protection Agency or HPA and work in compliance with its specific instructions, while state institutions are only permitted to complete urgent and essential tasks during this period. Ministers and heads of institutions are responsible for deciding specific details on work to be carried out. The President urged all offices to operate with the least amount of employees and called for continued work from home policies and online provisions of services in all possible circumstances. The decree stated that employees may continue to work as directed by their respective ministers or institutions' heads if additional time is required to complete certain tasks. Initially implemented on April 15th, lockdown measures in the capital city of Male disrupted the work of several ministerial and institutional offices located in the region. Following several extensions, President Soli announced that lockdown measures would be gradually eased following May 28th. And for the additional COVID-19 case updates, Alma, as of 6 p.m., confirmed an additional 14 cases of COVID-19 infections in Maldives. 5 was Maldivian nationals, 8 was Bangladesh, the other one is Sri Lankan, with a total amount of 1,976 total cases.
Go ahead, Steph. Okay. Let's first go to Thailand, and the Phuket airport is now preparing to reopen. And there are new rules for domestic arrivals there. Joining us live from Phuket, Thailand, here's Farah Benito. Hello, Farah.
Hello, Alma. How are you today?
I'm doing good. Thank you for asking. Wow, I love your background. How are you? So what are your updates from Phuket, please?
I would like to say good afternoon also to all our viewers around the world. And Alma, I'm at Wat Mongkol Wararam Temple. This is one of the most visited temple in Phuket. Moving on to our headline, Phuket Airport inspected for readiness to reopen. Dr. Tamapalo, Chief of the Ministry of Public Health's International Quarantine Division, conducted an inspection of Phuket International Airport on June 9 for its readiness to reopen. Phuket International Airport Deputy Director lead Dr. Tamapalo in showing the equipment staff and processes in place ready to allow passengers to arrive and depart Phuket via the airport. The tour included an inspection of the immigration arrivals hall, the check-in counters, baggage claim area, and boarding gates. The Airport of Thailand management team announced last week that they were ready to receive passengers under Phase 3 of the national relaxation of the COVID-19 lockdown measures. However, the management team made it plain in their announcement that they did not expect the airport to resume any regular operations before the next Wednesday, June 16, as the current order to stop operations at Phuket Airport by the Civil Aviation Authority of Thailand is set to expire on June 15 unless otherwise ordered. Meanwhile, the CCSA, the national authority overseeing all policy changes regarding COVID-19 has already announced that it expects to announce phase 4 of the relaxation of the COVID-19 restrictions today, that is June 12. I think, Alma, this is somehow a good news, especially to all foreigners here in Thailand who has been stranded and wanting to go back to their own country. On the other side of the news, officials say temple can deny entry to foreigners because of the coronavirus. A popular temple in Bangkok shuts its door to foreigners, including expats who have been residing in Thailand for years, citing that this is their antivirus precaution. They have announced that the temple will only be open to 5 people and not for foreigners, in which criticized as racial discrimination. Bangkok Metropolitan Administration Deputy Clerk said that because COVID-19 is not stable, they are not yet ready for foreign visitors. He has also added that tourist destinations should wait for further clarification on allowing foreigners in, and that some temples may allow, but some may not. Many also protested that measure that this is treating non-Thais as potential virus carriers, since a significant number of foreigners have been inside the country and never left since the outbreak began. British blogger and longtime expat Richard Barrow posted on Thursday that he had gone to Wat Po to pay his respects but was not allowed in despite having residence in Thailand. The historic temple wasn't alone in maintaining a no foreigner policy amid the coronavirus pandemic, as buses operated by the transport company Thailand, which resumed their interprovincial services, has also announced that they would not allow foreigners to board. Back to you, Alma.
All right, thank you very much, Farah, for your updates there in Phuket, Thailand. Stay safe, stay healthy.
Thank you. Thank you, Alma. You too. Reporting live from Phuket, Thailand, this is Farah Silada Benito. We live in interesting times.
Okay, let's head on back to Sri Lanka and try and get back with Steffi, the one. Hello, Steffi.
Hi, Alma.
Hello.
Sorry about that.
Yes, I lost you earlier. So your news from Sri Lanka, yes.
Yes. So here's the latest updates. President Ibrahim Mohamed Solih on Thursday issued permits for government institutions and ministries to operate from June 14 to 18 in order to complete essential tasks. According to the decree, government offices will not be open to the public despite being cleared to operate from 9 in the morning and 1 in the afternoon. The President's decree mandates offices and institutions to notify the Health Protection Agency, or HPA, and work in compliance with its specific instructions. While state institutions are only permitted to complete urgent and essential tasks during this period, ministers and heads of institutions are responsible for deciding specific details on work to be carried out. The President urged all offices to operate with the least amount of employees, to call for continued work from home policies and online provision of services in all possible circumstances. The decree stated that employees may continue to work as directed by their respective ministers or institution head if additional time is required to complete certain tasks. Initially implemented on April 15, lockdown measures in the capital city of Male disrupted the work of several ministerial and institutional offices located in the region. Following several extensions, President Solih announced that lockdown measures would be gradually eased following May 28. So, for additional update for COVID-19 case, as of 6 p.m., confirmed an additional 14 cases of COVID-19 infections in Maldives. 5 was Maldivian national, 8 was Bangladeshis, and the other one is Sri Lanka, with the total number of 1,976 total cases. Back to you, Alma.
All right, thank you very much, Steffi, for your updates there in the Maldives.
Yes, thank you so much. Once again, this is Steffi Di Juan, reporting live from Maldives, and we live in interesting times.
So what will schools look like under the new normal in Thailand? Crystal Mapa joins us live from Bangkok. Hello, Crystal.
Hi, Alma. Good
Hi.
afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yes, you are right. Classes will be split and students will go to school on alternate days when the new term starts on July 1st. The Office of the Basic Education Commission, or OBEC, says the decision was made at an OBEC meeting this week. Senior officials met to assess the remote learning program organized for students during the COVID-19 pandemic. The program will run until the new term starts on July 1st, a delay of around 2 months. However, individual schools will weigh health safety in their localities and determine if they can proceed with a July 1st opening. In the new term, OBEC has limited the number of primary students in each class to no more than 20 and high school students in a class to no more than 25, says OBEC Secretary General Amnat Wichayanuwat. Where the numbers exceed the limits, the students in each class may be split into 2 groups who will go to school on alternate days. In the meantime, classes must implement hygiene and cleanliness measures and practice social distancing. Earlier, the Bangkok Metropolitan Administration, or BMA, decided it would introduce the alternate day arrangement at 233 large schools it runs. The schools have more 400 students each. In small schools with 20 students or less in each class, students will go to school on from Monday to Friday as usual, Mr. Amnat said. Back to you, Alma.
All right. Thank you very much for your updates there in Bangkok, Thailand.
Thank you, Alma. Reporting live here in Bangkok, Thailand. I am Crystal Mapa. We live in interesting times.
To Cambodia now, news on online learning to adapt to new normal measures on education as well. Ed Boyosi joins us live from Phnom Penh. Hello, Ed.
Hi, Alma. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. How are you doing?
Alma, yeah.
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. A pilot project to build a digital learning capacity is underway for 15 rural schools in 2 districts of Soi Reng province in Cambodia. The Ministry of Education, Youth and Sport and Child Fund Cambodia has already signed a memorandum of agreement yesterday. Alma, the project will allow students in target schools to access educational materials offline during the COVID-19 pandemic. Child Fund Cambodia said in its press release that many children in Cambodia's urban areas have been able to access e-learning facilities amid school closures. However, children in remote and rural communities without access to technology have struggled to continue their studies. The project is expected to last until September 30. According to the ministry spokesperson, Ros Sovicha, the ministry's Information Technology Department will support the pilot project through provision of training and technical assistance by turning all resources uploaded in the ministry's website into offline resources for the target schools to be fully able to download learning and teaching resources without internet connection. 3 portable plug-and-play servers at each location will be installed. This will store digital lessons and educational website resources, which can be made available offline to students. Child safeguarding measures will be integrated throughout all parts of the online learning curriculum. Child Fund Cambodia Country Director, Mr. Prashant Verma, said that a pilot project is expected to galvanize the efforts of the Education Ministry to give vulnerable children easy access to digital education technologies. This will not only improve their learning outcomes, but fill the education gaps caused by current COVID-19 crisis. Child Fund Cambodia will post-review the pilot project to find out challenges and strategies for improvement, and will seek from big donors to replicate the project to other provinces. The project is not just to cope with COVID-19, but also prepare schools for future trends where digital learning will take the lead in education reform. On other BOT-related news, Alma, the Cambodia's Ministry of Education, Youth and Sport has approved online entrance and graduate examinations for higher education. The announcement was made by Minister Hang Chun Narun on its letter dated June 8 to rectors and higher educational institutions across the kingdom. In response to the ministry's call to action, changes in the learning assessment format will be employed by some universities in Cambodia. Royal University of Phnom Penh Rector Chile said yesterday that assessment questions will now be in the form of critical and analytic ones instead of a standard memory-based questions. This kind of assessment will require students to think critically, analyze concepts, and evaluate issues rather than simply memorizing facts and theories. It will also help to eliminate the cheating, including the use of textbooks and other references during the exam, which some students have expressed concern about. The Ministry of Education said students will still sit through their entrance and exit exams, albeit virtually. Before the exams, the universities must submit an outline of the examination process to the ministry for verification. Back to you, Alma.
All right. Thank you very much, Ed, for your reports. Thank you, EBC Cambodia Bureau.
Thank you to Alma. Reporting live here in Phnom Penh, Cambodia, I'm Eduardo Y. Biasi Jr. We live in interesting times.
Okay, first let's go to Singapore, where John Lord joins us live.
Good afternoon.
Hello, John Lord.
Alma, good afternoon to everyone.
Good afternoon.
Hello, good afternoon, Alma. Good afternoon to everyone.
Go ahead, John Lord.
Here's the updates in Singapore. Antiviral drug remdesivir can now be used to treat seriously ill COVID-19 patients in Singapore, making the country one of the first to get the nod for using the drug to treat the virus. The Straits Times has learned from the authority here on Wednesday, June 10, that the Health Science Authority has granted conditional approval for Gilead Sciences remdesivir, allowing infectious diseases specialists to administer the drug to some patients. Remdesivir is the only treatment so far shown to benefit COVID-19 patients in a robust clinical trial. As part of the conditional approval, Gilead is required to collect the relevant safety data and to monitor the use of the drug. The approval was obtained in less than 3 weeks. Gilead filed for registration of remdesivir in Singapore on May 22. According to HSA, the drug can be administered to include those with low oxygen saturation level less than or equal to 94% or who might require supplemental oxygen or more intensive breathing support, such as extracorporeal membrane oxygenation, a type of life support, or invasive mechanical ventilation. The approval is based on clinical data from National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases in the United States, Global Phase 3 trial, and another by Gilead, the drug maker said in a statement on Wednesday. Singapore participated in both trials and enrolled about 100 patients. HSA is working with Singapore's health ministry and relevant experts to further define the subcategory of patients who are likely to benefit most from this medicine, it said. Singapore enrolled its first patient in these trials on March 12. Remdesivir was previously available only through such clinical trials. Alma, Singapore will embark on human clinical trials next week on 23 healthy individuals for potential treatment for COVID-19. The Phase 1 trial developed by Singapore-based biotechnology company Tican will be conducted by the SingHealth Investigational Medicine Unit and take about 6 weeks. It is meant to determine the safety and effectiveness of TY027, a monoclonal antibody or immune system protein that specifically targets SARS-CoV-2, the virus that causes COVID-19, said Tican in a statement on Wednesday, June 10. TY027 is being explored for the treatment of COVID-19 patients by slowing the progression of the disease and speeding up recovery, as well as potentially to provide temporary protection against infection, the company said. If Phase 1 is successful, Tican will seek approval for the antibody to be administered to a larger population of volunteer patients in subsequent trials. The treatment is aimed at COVID-19 patients for now, whether it could be used for other applications, such as for healthcare workers or even overseas travelers, would depend on result of the trial. TY027 was developed together with the Ministry of Defense, Ministry of Health, the Economic Development Board, and other government agencies. Tican said it has received approval from the Health Sciences Authority to start dosing healthy volunteers next week. Tican is a Singapore-based clinical stage biotechnology company focused on developing treatment for emerging infections, through disruptive technologies. There has been a proliferation of more than 300 clinical trials worldwide for the coronavirus. Back to you, Alma.
All right. Thank you very much, John Lord. Thank you, EBC Singapore Bureau.
Thank you so much. This is John Lord Cruz reporting live from Singapore. We live in interesting times.
Meanwhile, Vietnam is reporting nearly 97% recovery rate of their coronavirus patients. Chriselle Acuna joins us live from Ho Chi Minh. Hello, Chriselle.
Hello, Anna. Good afternoon to you and to all of our viewers.
Good afternoon.
Yes, that is correct. Nearly 97% of COVID-19 patients in Vietnam recovered. Today, June 12, marked the 57th consecutive day without new COVID-19 community infection, with the national tally still standing at 332 and recoveries reaching 321. According to the Ministry of Health, the country has documented no virus-related deaths so far. The recovery rate of COVID-19 patients in Vietnam rose to nearly 96.7% as of 6 p.m. on Thursday, said the National Steering Committee for COVID-19 Prevention and Control. Now, Alma, regarding the British COVID-19 patient, the Ministry of Health said that his health continues improving surprisingly day by day. The British COVID-19 patient, who was once in an extremely critical condition, is now able to sit in a wheelchair, to sunbathe daily with help from the medical workers at a hospital in Ho Chi Minh City. Doctors at Chorai Hospital put him off the ECMO a week ago and began to reduce his reliance on a ventilator. He will continue being treated at a hospital, though he has already tested negative for the novel coronavirus disease. The government is also considering the resumption of commercial flights between Vietnam and safe regions where there have been no new cases of COVID-19 for at least 30 days. In fact, the national flag carrier Vietnam Airlines plans to resume international flights in July. And also, effective yesterday, the authorities officially permits discos, karaoke lounges to resume operations. Let's go over headline number 2. Ho Chi Minh City has the lowest fertility rate in Vietnam. Ho Chi Minh City has the lowest fertility rate in Vietnam, while the north central province of Ha Tinh has the highest, according to a report from the Ministry of Health. Vietnam is hoping to address a fertility rate that has been falling since the 1980s. In fact, they introduced a policy called Marry by 30, 2 children by 35. It is the Vietnam's plan for young people to boost its economy. Vietnam, with a population of 96 million, has introduced the policy in a bid to address a falling fertility rate and head off the social problems associated with the aging populations. And it is also hoping to prevent the economic problems. The country's birth rate, since it introduced the market-oriented Dong Moi reforms in the 1980s, has fallen from 4 children per woman in 1986 to 2.09 today, according to the World Bank, just under the rate of 2.1 that is needed to maintain a steady population without resorting to immigration. So far, that's the latest from Ho Chi Minh City. Alma?
Thank you very much, Chriselle, for your updates there in Vietnam. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I would just like to greet my lolas, Lolo Jim and Lolo Danny from Lokal ng Tabakuhan, who is always watching the program. This is Chriselle Acuna. We live in interesting times.
Hello, Lolo and Lola. Thank you, Chriselle. Okay, let's head on over to Malaysia. Ruby Tinawin joins us live.
Hello, Alma. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Ruby.
Yes, for the latest news here in Malaysia, the Economic Stimulus Implementation and Coordination Units between national agencies, or Laksana, will ensure all measures under the National Economic Recovery Plan and the Prihatin Rakyat Economic Stimulus Package reach their target groups in a transparent manner. Finance Minister Tengku Datuk Sri Zabrul Abdul Aziz said developments involving Tanjana and Prihatin were constantly being monitored through the weekly performance report prepared by Laksana. The minister was also reported earlier as saying that the government did not employ external consultants to assist the ministry in implementing the economic stimulus package. Laksana was established in March under the Finance Ministry to ensure that all initiatives announced by the government would be implemented expeditiously and smoothly. Tengku Safrol said every initiative must be executed with transparency and integrity by the parties responsible. Prime Minister Tan Sri Muhyiddin Yassin unveiled Prihatin on March 27, Prihatin Plus on April 6, and Penjana on June 5, which were aimed at stimulating the country's economy that was hit by the COVID-19 pandemic. The economic stimulus plan, worth 295 billion ringgit, are anticipated to bolster the government's effort to restore the country's economic environment back to the pre-COVID-19 level. Meanwhile, all public transport services, including flights and express buses, as well as e-hailing services and private vehicles, are now allowed to operate at full capacity, while abiding by the SOP under the Recovery Movement Control Order at all times. Senior Minister Dato' Sri Ismail Sabri Yaakob said the meeting of the Special Ministerial Committee on the implementation of RMCO today also agreed to allow the e-hailing, taxi and express bus services to operate without any time limit. He said the SOP, among others, required all drivers and passengers of express buses to wear face masks, to have their body temperature recorded before boarding, and use hand sanitizer. Bus operators are also required to make face masks available for their passengers to purchase and to sanitize the buses before and after every trip. He also added that the use of My Sejahtera app to facilitate contact tracing process and cashless payment of fares are very much encouraged for the e-hailing, taxi and express bus services. Nevertheless, despite being allowed to operate at full capacity, Ismail Sabri reminded all public transport service providers to ensure that their passengers could still observe social distancing. Private vehicle owners are also now allowed to have non-family members as their passengers. However, the decision to do away with social distancing on board aircraft was made after taking into account international standards and guidelines of the International Air Transport Association. According to Transport Minister Dato' Sri Dr. Wee Ka Siong, the IATA guidelines do not require social distancing, but state clear procedures to do such as health screenings, including taking body temperature, wearing mouth and nose mask, and procedures that the crew needed to perform before and after the flight. In other news, Russia's ambassador to Malaysia, Nail Latifov, said Russian and Malaysian experts are poised to discuss the possibility of enhancing cooperation in the development of a COVID-19 vaccine. He said the Kremlin was seeking to hold a bilateral video conference for the purpose, hoping that it can be done next week. In April, Putrajaya announced that Russia was among several countries it had identified for collaboration on the development of a vaccine. Latifov, who spoke to FMT yesterday on the occasion of Russia Day, said scientists in his country were already conducting clinical trials of vaccine samples they had developed and also testing immunoglobulin-based medications. He added that the conference would not be limited to discussions on vaccine development. Malaysia and Russia are apparently also looking forward on collaborating on test kits and medical equipment such as ventilators and personal protection gear. Latifov said Russia was also keen to draw Malaysia's experience in managing the crisis. He also said his side was hoping that the video conference on COVID-19 would be the beginning of a series of a range of bilateral matters, including tourism and the possible establishment of a Russian industrial zone in northern Malaysia. Latifov said Russia regarded Malaysia as a close friend and was appreciative of Putrajaya's balanced and non-biased stand on international issues. Back to you, Alma.
All right. Thank you very much, Ruby, for your updates there. EBC Malaysia Bureau, thank you very much.
Yes, reporting live here in Malaysia. This is Rubiti. Now we live in interesting times.
Okay, let's head on back to California. MJ Rocadio joins us live. Hello, MJ.
Hi, good afternoon. Good afternoon, Alma. This is MJ Rocadio. Good evening here in California. And this is a good news because finally the Hollywood will open starting tomorrow, June the 12th, here in California. And according to California Governor Gavin Newsom, revealed guidelines for film and television productions to resume to Hollywood after months of shutdown due to novel coronavirus pandemic. And he says music, TV, film production may resume here in California, recommended no sooner than tomorrow and subject to approval by county public health officers within the jurisdictions of operations, following the review of local data, including cases per 100,000 population, rate of test positivity, and local preparedness to support a health care surge, vulnerable populations, contact tracing, and testing. Now, the California Department of Health said in a statement by a governor's office on Friday, to reduce the risk of COVID-19 transmission, productions, cast, crew, and other industry workers should abide by safety protocols agreed by the labor and management, which may be further enhanced by county public health officers. Now, back office staff and management should adhere to office workspace guidelines published by the California Department of Public Health and the California Department of Industries Relations to reduce the risk of COVID-19 transmissions. And also, Alma, these are the businesses that aren't allowed to operate yet in the state of California and its counties. So here's the following businesses and sectors. Establishments or activities are not permitted to operate in the state of California this time. Personal services such as nail salons, so that can wait. Tattoo parlors, body waxing, indoor playgrounds such as bounce centers, ball pits, and laser tag, live theater, saunas and steam rooms, nightclubs, concert venues, festivals, theme parks, and higher education. Now, let's go with the numbers. In the whole entire California, it's 139,281 cases, which is the increase is 2.3%, and the total death, Alma, is 4,881. Tests reported 2,597,647, and in Los Angeles County, the positive cases of COVID-19 is 68,875. Deaths, 2,813. That's for the Los Angeles. And deaths, it's 2,813. Yes, that's right. And in Sacramento County, it is 1,670 positive cases and 63 deaths. Now, let's go on with entertainment. So if you haven't checked out, Alma, you have any question for me?
No, go ahead.
Yes, with the entertainment. If you haven't checked out the entertainment blog, you could go ahead and check it out. We're interviewing a whole bunch of high-profile celebrities such as Miss America 2001. She's happened to be Filipino-American. We got Reggie Lee on the way. So if you haven't checked it out, you could go ahead and do so at Eagle News PH on YouTube channel and Eagle News Live on Facebook.
Thank you very much,
Alma?
MJ. Thank you for your report there in Sacramento, California.
This is MJ Rocadio reporting from Sacramento, California. We live in interesting times. Back to you, Alma.
Thank you. All right, before we go to our last news, the ASEAN Ministerial Meeting on Social Welfare and Development was held online with the aim of mitigating the impact of COVID-19 on vulnerable groups. Charlene Navaja and Ralph Wandolph Empay from Vietnam.
welfare ministers of ASEAN countries have pledged to implement policies towards vulnerable people as well as minimize negative impacts of the COVID-19 pandemic on the elderly, women, and especially children.
That was included in a joint statement resulting from an online ASEAN ministerial meeting on social welfare and development on Wednesday. 10 ministers in charge of welfare and social development from ASEAN member countries and the ASEAN Secretary General attended the conference.
The statement emphasized ensuring social security, strengthening the resilience of the poor and vulnerable groups during and after the COVID-19 pandemic. Accordingly, the ministers will also work closely to ensure access to social security and appropriate allocation of resources from public funds for social spending, protect the rights, safety, and dignity of people in vulnerable groups. They will also ensure the health and safety of social workers on the front line in response to the pandemic. Cross-sector cooperation will be strengthened at national and regional levels. The ministers agreed to develop comprehensive pandemic recovery programs as well as develop continuous plans and measures to ensure the integration of people with disabilities, be gender responsive and age sensitive, and promote children's participation.
During the online meeting, the ministers shared policies and programs related to social security and welfare, as well as national support for the people, especially for vulnerable groups affected by the COVID-19 pandemic. They also proposed recommendations for promoting social security and welfare in the region. Vietnamese Minister of Labor, Invalids, and Social Affairs Dao Ngoc Zong highly appreciated the efforts of Laos and the ASEAN Secretariat in organizing the conference. Zong shared the positive results in fighting the COVID-19 pandemic in Vietnam, saying it was the efforts of the government and people of Vietnam in the prevention and response to difficulties caused by the pandemic.
Zhu also said that as the long-term economic instability would lead to increased social instability, ASEAN member countries should continue their efforts and strengthen cross-sectoral cooperation at national and regional level in realizing the joint statement as well as promoting social security, responding to crises, disasters, and pandemics.
ANMSWD is an initiative proposed by Laos as the current chairman of the meeting and has received support from Vietnam as the chair of ASEAN Socio-Cultural Community 2020. This has been Carlina Baca reporting from Hanoi, Vietnam.
And this is Rob Mondel Empire. We live in interesting times.
All right, before we go, just a quick update. Different groups are now gathering at the University of the Philippines campus in Diliman, Quezon City. This day of the Independence Day that they call Grand Mañanita protest. The groups there now are the Grupong Movement Against Tyranny, Kilusang Mayo 1, Metro Manila Congress of Teachers, Educators for Nationalism and Democracy, Gabriela Youth, Anakbayan, Albertus Magnus Anakpawis Party List, Concerned Artists of the Philippines, or CAP, and College Editors Guild of the Philippines. And they are protesting the anti-terror bill and how the government is addressing the COVID-19 pandemic. And before we go, I would just like to greet and thank Brother Willen Regalado, who is supporting ASEAN bureaus right now. Thank you for all your help po, and hello po from all of us. Thank you so much, Brother Willen Regalado. And that is the latest news in the Southeast Asian nations. Stay updated about the ASEAN region. I'm Alma Angeles. We live in interesting times.